Welcome to Market Monkeys.
Market Monkeys.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin. We're going to be talking a little bit about what it is, should you invest or not, and what we're doing with it.
Yeah. Well, personally, I'm not doing any with it at the moment. It's not for me at the moment. There's a lot of cryptocurrencies out there, Scott, as you probably know better than I do.
Well, I've only looked into it a little bit, so I don't know a whole lot about it, but the little bit I do know, I'm going to share with you today.
And the volatility is incredible. I've seen it go from 2,500. It's like at the moment it's about 7.5
US.
7.6 US, 7,600
For one
US
Bitcoin.
dollar for one Bitcoin. Which
Yeah.
you can, for me it'd be better if it was down the road a bit, and if I was traveling from country to country and I was using that instead of having to keep changing money.
Yeah, the exchange fees. So what Bitcoin is it's a cryptocurrency. So it's up in the air, just like the internet, basically. Everybody's got a wallet, and tied to that wallet there's a ledger everybody has for the amount of Bitcoin that you hold and everybody else holds. So there's no central bank like you have in most countries that control the currency. And what happens is, let's say I want to trade with my dad, I pass it to you, it goes on the ledger and around the world and everybody else's ledger, so everybody knows where that Bitcoin's been traded to, who's got it now. A bit like gold, where it's going,
There's only so much gold.
Exactly. So it's only so much gold, and there's only so many Bitcoins that can actually be available. Not all of them have been mined at the moment. And mining is another thing where basically computational mathematics by computers is being done, that once they solve a certain mathematical problem within the currency, basically it gives them a Bitcoin or basically an answer, which then gives them part of the Bitcoin. They believe, I think it's about 2041, they believe that all the Bitcoins will be mined around that time. And the more people that mine it, the harder it becomes to actually mine it.
So that means that once it's all been mined, the price will go up.
Well, that means that there's no more available, right?
Right.
So
same as gold.
Same as gold. There's only so much in the ground.
But it hasn't all been mined yet.
Yeah. So at the moment, the situation with it is that there's two situations. So a lot of people say it's going to go up to astronomical levels, which it possibly could. The reason being that if everybody wants it and there's only a finite amount of it, it's going to be bid up to higher and higher levels because everybody wants it, because it's not regulated, it's not, nobody's sort of coming in. I think it goes past taxes and goes past fees. You can take it to any country and use it anywhere, right? So the more people that become aware of it, the more people that start to accept it, the more valuable it's going to become, and everybody's going to want a piece of it.
And the younger generations, they're going to want this sort of thing, I think, in the future.
Yeah, cryptocurrency, I think, is going to be...
It's not only because there's not only obviously Bitcoin, there are lots of other cryptocurrencies around the world.
That's the thing as well. That's the only one downside. If another better cryptocurrency should come out that people like more or think that would be more secure, I think that they may flip to that, then Bitcoin may become...
It's only a couple. I mean, to be honest, look at all the other currencies around the world. It's just the same sort of thing.
For sure. It may not go to the astronomical heights that people may think it will go to. Maybe it'll just stick to where it is, or come back to where it was, or maybe go a little bit lower. It may. I don't think it'll necessarily go like to zero, but
the internet.
The
internet has given us a chance to have a universal currency, uncontrolled by governments around the world, unregulated. That means that the average man could, not necessarily will, could be better off for if he travels, and he doesn't have to keep, if he wants to change his money over into certain things, he can just use Bitcoin rather than have exchange rates. People that are losing out on this situation will obviously be all the banks, all the governments.
I think the main thing and the big thing that's going to come through is if and when a crash happens somewhere in the world, that a hyperinflation or a massive inflation happens in these countries, that they then start to shift to something like a cryptocurrency, should it be Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency, that's when the cryptocurrency is going to really shine and people are really going to start to take notice, because that's going to be something where they can't print more of it inflation's going to be wiped away because it's only a finite amount. It's like buying a block of gold. Everybody else is printing cash, but your money's in the gold. So the gold just is what it is. Yeah. There's only so much of it, and it's going to keep that. As long as somebody else believes there's value in it, that's where the value is going to be.
And obviously people think there is value because look at the price of it now.
Well, this is the thing, right? So, and it's been bid up. I mean, it's gone up, what, 10% in the past day or two, which is crazy. For me personally, it's not necessarily something that I want to invest into, but I'm not going to say that in the future I won't use it as a currency, which is, I believe that's what it's going to be for. When everything's gone up and everybody knows about it, when it's settled down, then maybe I'll be using it as a currency as I use Canadian dollars or the British pound or something like that. But at the moment, I don't want to put all my money into something that I'm going to use as a currency and then it goes down to worth nothing because of all the uncertainty.
And, and when people think that, obviously they're looking at now, it's an internet-based thing, Bitcoin, and it's not, you can't touch it, feel it, it's just an internet-based thing. But if you think that the money in your wallet, the cash, which we don't use much now, we're all using plastic. So we're not actually using the money that we talk about now. In most countries, we're using plastic cards for credit cards and debit cards. The value of the money in your hand as cash, well, there is no value in that money. It's bits of paper and bits of metal that have no intrinsic value. The intrinsic value stopped in, I think it was 1943 or 1944 when the Second World War finished, because the coins before that, they were all silver, and they're silver and gold, right, and mostly silver, solid silver, right. They stopped that. There was no value in the money from there on in. So this is no different to that. But in the future, this will probably be where it goes. But there will be interventions from governments because they want to take their slice of everything. They've got to keep their countries running, right? It's like oil.
Or maybe, who knows? Maybe a new system will be.
But they'll always get their slice. They got to run their governments. They got to run their countries.
Possibly. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's a new time. New things going on. Just like when the internet came in the 90s, it's all new and people didn't fully understand it. And I think this is the same sort of thing with this. It's not fully understood yet what implications it's going to have. But I think there is
down the road.
It's going to be better for a lot of people, especially if you can have. It might even be able to help with certain crashes in the future if you've got a certain amount in Bitcoin.
It's sort of
so you'll be able to transfer into that. Then should a crash happen, it's like, well, I got
Bitcoin. Around the world, you could be just having. You may just put your currency into Bitcoin. So no matter where your crash happens and you're investing, you've got Bitcoin. It could be that you're not worried about the fluctuations of economies if you've got your money in Bitcoin. But anyway, this is a future thing.
Maybe you even be able to buy stocks in Bitcoin in the future, or another cryptocurrency. Another cryptocurrency.
I'll probably be dead and gone by then. But listen, if there's anything that's helped you today, subscribe. And if you've got any questions, ask Scott.
Or Dave, let him know. Okay, thanks very much.
Thanks.
Take care.